Good morning, YouTube. I am back again. It's another morning, and I'm getting ready to make my oatmeal for breakfast, which is my pre-workout meal, and then I'm gonna head to the gym. But I got some feedback and some questions about how do you make your oatmeal? What do you put in it? Measurements, tips, things like that. So I'm gonna talk you through that. Oatmeal stuff over here. First thing you want to do, get yourself a bowl. And if you have a food scale, I use a food scale for my measurements. You would think, sometimes when you're looking at the label of things, it'll say things like half a cup. Well, if you were to get half a cup, measure out the oatmeal, and have 3 people do that, they would get a different amount, some of the oats in the cup, and then if you actually weighed them on the scale, you would see these variances in serving size. So the best source of accuracy is to use a food scale and measure your grams per serving size, because sometimes you'll actually even see that written out to the side. I actually, once I get my oatmeal, I use clear containers and I pour it out here, so I don't have the container to show you, but I'm just gonna make something up. It'll say serving size 1/2 cup or 40 grams. I go with the 40 grams, and that's what I measure out on my food scale. And that's actually my serving of oatmeal right now. That's what fits my macros. Also, tip, serving size is just a suggestion. It's what the food label company would say is the amount that the average person would consume of that food. That doesn't mean you have to have that serving size of that food. So for example, whenever my carb count for my macros goes down, I probably will adjust my oatmeal measurement. I might go from 40 grams to 30 grams. At some point I might go down to 20 grams. Right now I'm at 40. So that's what I'm gonna measure out. First things first is you wanna get your bowl, put it on the food scale, make sure it's on, and then you want to get to the unit of measure that fits your item. So I'm at the grams, and then you want to zero it out so that the food scale says 0 grams. What I am then going to do is I'm going to scoop out oatmeal into my bowl until it reads 40. $40 on the dot. And then the next thing I do, people do this differently for the oatmeal. Some people boil water and then add it to the oats and stir it. I add my water cold, and then I microwave it for 3 minutes. That's how I prefer it. So I'm gonna add some water to this, and I don't measure out my water. I eyeball it, so I just do it enough so that the oats are wet and then just slightly above it. So I'll show you how I pour it out. Okay, see how I can, and it's gonna like lean, because maybe if I do it this way, there we go. So see, just enough that it's wet, but a little layer above. And then add my salt, just a dash. Microwave for 3 minutes. And when I come back, I'll show you what the consistency looks like, and then I will measure out my protein powder to add to it. That's one thing, add my protein powder afterwards. Okay, back, and oatmeal's been cooked. It's hot, but that's how the consistency looks after microwaving for 3 minutes. Are you, drop in the comments below, are you a liquidy oatmeal type person or do you like it thick? I am an in between. So I don't want it runny, but I don't want it thick. And for adding the protein powder afterwards, you don't want it to be too thick. It's an easy fix if it is. You just would add more water to be able to mix it up. But that's what we're gonna do next. Next thing is the protein powder. So again, this will adjust to you and your macros. I'm adding the protein powder to my oats for protein, just an extra source of protein. I try to get about 30 grams of protein with each meal. So this helps me get there. And then on the side, I do have my Greek yogurt. That gives me 15 grams of protein. So adding the protein powder, I have chocolate truffle, PE Science, PE Science protein powders are really good because they dissolve really well in other things, and it's because of the casein blend. If you ever have a protein powder and you want to do things like baking, like protein pancakes or brownies or stuff like that, or even just adding it to your oatmeal, the casein blend helps it dissolve really well. So for me right now, I'm adding 20 grams of this to my oatmeal. How do I do that? First thing, take off lid and take your scooper out of the container. Scale is on. It's at 0 right now. I'm gonna put it on, weight shows up, 0 it out, wait for it to say 0. Then I'm gonna take my scooper, and then as I scoop out, it shows like a minus grams, and then that's how much you have taken from the protein bottle. So I'm gonna scoop out 20 grams. I'm at minus 11 right now. And I'm running low. I actually have another bottle coming to me in the mail as we speak right now. And let me face you, as I'm scooping, I'm adding the protein powder to my bowl of oats. And if you ever over scoop, I like this method versus putting the bowl on the scale and then adding protein powder to the bowl. If you over scoop, then you just add protein powder back into the bottle. So, let's see, 1 more gram. I'm at 20. So, protein powder on the oats, with your spoon, and then stir. And then as I'm stirring, I'm looking at how well it blends and mixes. And I feel, oh, I might not need to add more water today. Sometimes I do. But it is mixing very, very well. That protein powder that's on the side. And there we go. Mixed up. Next thing, I will do these first next, actually. Liquid stevia drops. Get these from Whole Foods, and it's sweetener. A little goes a long way. Stevia, I think it's like 100 times sweeter than sugar. So it comes with this little dropper, and I usually do a couple, maybe like 4 drops of it. Just squeeze some of this out for sweetness into my oats. 1, 2, 3, 4. So added that, and then next, this is new. So I added this on Saturday. Instead of peanut butter for my fats right now, there you go. Coconut oil. It's been a game changer. Again, digestion girly. And coconut oil is great for that. Also, what I really like about coconut oil is that it is purely all fats. There's no other macro in here. I'll flip over so you can look at the nutrition label yourself. It is all fat, so a little goes a long way here. Fat is going to be your most calorically dense macro. Carries 9 calories per gram, so, and carbs and protein are only 4. So a little goes a long way. For this one, for me, for my macros, what fits right now is doing 9 grams of this. And it's so good. It gives my oatmeal like an almond joy kind of feel, because it's the chocolate protein powder mix in and then the coconut here. Then take the lid off, turn my scale on. It's at 0. It's at grams where I need it to be. Set this on the scale. Measurement comes up for the weight of the jar. 0 it. It's at 0, and now I'm going to take my spoon and scoop out 9 grams. Fun thing about this part is I've got chocolate oats on my spoon. Yummy. Eat that off before scooping. Okay. Easy peasy. That part is done. It's the coconut oil. Now I'm gonna mix it in. Mix, mix, mix. Okay. Last part is the blues, and I'm actually gonna pull this up because I felt like, you know, your phone listens to you talk. It was so targeted. I got an Apple News alert yesterday about the benefits of blueberries. Let's see if I can find it. The article was what happens when you eat blueberries every day, and it just talks about all the benefits. I won't say you're trying to find them, but some of the benefits of blueberries: good source of fiber. They're good for your cognitive health. I remember hearing that in elementary school. We'd have to take like our standardized testing. They were like, have your blueberries, it's your brain food. And there's also a heart benefit, so good benefit of having blueberries every day. I have 30 grams right now. Okay, that's what fits with my macros. And I like to get the giant ones because I love the squish. This time, I am just going to put my bowl on the scale. It's at 0. Zero it out. And I'm going to drop in 30 grams. Perfect. This is how we're looking. And just because we've been talking, as I've been doing this, it's a little cool. So I'm just gonna pop it in the microwave for like 30 seconds, and then I'm gonna add my Greek yogurt. I like to spoon some on top. And today we've got lower body day legs. I am mostly going to be doing unilateral stuff. So on Mondays, both sides, and then on Wednesdays for my leg days or one side, I will film that. I'll do a little voiceover. I got another comment question about choosing weights. So my voiceover, I'll talk about that. About how I got to the weights that I'm at with those exercises, and then how you can kind of, for yourself, whenever you're working out, gauge what's a weight for you that is challenging, but not too heavy that you're at risk for injury, and not too light so you're not even activating the muscle, you're just kind of flying through it, and it's actually becoming more of a cardio aerobic type exercise versus an anaerobic strength based thing. So I'll talk about that. And then I also got a question about choosing weights for women when it comes to working out glutes, in a short that I posted. So I'll kind of talk through all of that. But before I go, I guess I will tease after I do the workout. I'll give an update just about where I'm at, and excuse me, and prep, and then that'll close us out. So talk to you soon. Okay, here we are, first starting with some seated hip abductions. I do 3 sets of these to start my workout and do 25 reps. You'll see there I sat down, I made sure that my feet were adjusted appropriately on the foot pads, and then I lean forward. If you lean forward for hip thrust, you get a little bit more upper glute activation, which was my feedback area from the last time I competed. And how do you find the correct weight here? Um, you want to make sure that you're filling the area that you're targeting. So this is an abduction machine. So I want to make sure my abductors are being engaged. And again, I'm leaning forward for upper glute. So I want to make sure I'm filling it in my upper glute. If I'm not, then I would try playing around with my placement or increasing the weight. Next, I my B stance hip thrust. The B stance hip thrust are great because they are single leg and we get to focus on each side of your glute. Sometimes when you do your regular hip thrust, if one side's more powerful, it can kind of take over. By doing the B stance, you get to really see where you're at with both sides for that symmetry. I do 4 sets of these, excuse me, for 10 reps. And I always rest in between my single leg exercises, about 30 seconds. It just gives some time for me to have some energy up before I go to that other side, to make sure I'm giving it my all. And that's what we want to do because we want to build muscle. You'll see here that my weight selection is what's appropriate for me. This is the weight at which I feel like I'm being challenged. I am still feeling the working side, the working leg glute muscle, and I'm not having that lower back engagement. So that's how you can know if you're choosing the right weight. And then next, I walked over and I did single leg cable kickbacks. Um, these you want to go lighter on because my goal again is that upper glute. If it go any higher, which I could, I feel it more in my quad, and that's not what I want. I want it in my upper glute. So I do 3 sets of these, obviously on both legs. I do 15 on each side. I don't know if I mentioned this, but this video is sped up, so I am not going as fast as I am in the recording. This is 2 times speed, just for quickness. But again, I choose a weight where I am still feeling that upper glute activation and it's still challenging. And it's not too heavy because if you go heavier, then you start feeling it in other parts of your leg, and that's not what I'm trying to work on. And then next, I have my Smith bar deficit reverse lunges. I do 3 sets of these, at 10 reps on each leg. Weight selection here. Again, similar story. My goal, my purpose is I'm trying to build those bikini glutes. So I don't want to choose a weight that's so heavy that I'm more so feeling it in my low back. And whenever I am stepping in that reverse lunge, you will see that I'm tilted forward slightly. Again, that's glute activation. If you're standing more straight up and down, more vertical, that's more of a quad. And I'm trying to build bikini glutes. And this is me just getting a little bit of posing in on my 30-second rest between legs. And then here we go. We are back in the saddle again, hitting that other side. I do 3 sets of 10 of these. And I finish the workout with my lying hamstring curls. 3 sets of 10 of these. I chose a weight where I am feeling it in the muscle that I'm trying to work, which is my hamstring. So something that is challenging that I can do, but I'm also not putting myself at risk of injury. I don't feel like my hamstring's about to snap. I have control of the movement, not jerky. Okay, back. So I wanted to close this video out by giving a little prep update. I'm about 9 weeks in, which is so crazy. It's really flown by. And honestly, my strategy this time around is just not to think too much. Just execute, just do it. So whenever I meet with my coach, check in, I get new cardio, updated macros. I just go in my fitness pal, plug the numbers in, and I just deliver. I feel like if you fixate so much on the macros, besides just executing on them, delivering them to the gram, and how many calories am I eating, it does like a mental warfare in your head of like, oh my god, I'm eating so little or whatever. So this time I've not been hyper fixating on that so much. I've just been doing, and I think that's helped me mentally so much. The last prep I did, I focused so much on food, and then I think that kind of set me up for failure in the post-show experience because I was just missing. I felt like I was missing out on so much, and I felt like I just needed to capitalize on it all. So trying a different approach this time. But yes, checked in with coach today. We got a macro decrease, and I am particularly on my carbs. My protein's staying the same, my fat's staying the same, and I'm actually like, I'm ready for it. I'm psyched about it. I honestly haven't felt like hungry that much to drink. This prep, I've more so now in the past couple weeks, I felt the energy go down, the energy depletion once I get to like mid-afternoon. But when it comes to food, I'm just hungry right when it's time for me to have my next meal. It's not been anything throughout the day, and I think that has to do with the mental aspect of things. I'm not hyper fixating on numbers. I'm just doing. And then also I'm in a busy season of work, so I think that's helping too with, I have my meal, I go down, I work, and then it's like, oh, next thing you know, it's time for the next meal. So I've been fine that way, but super excited. We're in the throes of it now. We're gonna see some significant body changes, and I'm so amped to do it, to see it. I haven't posted a check-in photo, I think, since like fall. I've been keeping that close just because of my own mental thing. I kind of want to hold that until I'm super close to showtime and then just kind of drop a photo. Just a little thing for myself. I've been really focusing on fixing my posing too. So whenever I feel like that is there, I just want to post like a fire front pose, a fire back pose, and just be like, what? You go back through on my Instagram, I'll link that at the end too. You can just like see that comparison of like my first time ever checking in to like current, and just like the gains the posing, like all of the growth that has transpired. But that's it. We are pushing for the next couple days. I'm checking in with her now 2 times per week, and then we'll assess like my hunger, my energy, my weight, how I'm feeling, and then make changes as need be. But I'm so amped for this. If you have any questions about anything, hope you enjoyed my oatmeal tutorial. If there's anything else you're curious about, I'm trying to think if there's another meal recipe that might be interesting. Other than that, I'm eating like beef and rice and my sauerkraut. I'm eating chicken, rice, green beans. It's pretty simple foods, and then just like eggs, like, you know, so nothing too interesting to really share. But if you're curious about what type of workouts I'm doing, or just anything, drop a comment below and I'll get back to you. All right. Thank you for watching.